In this third part of an introduction to Lightroom, we're going to look at working in the Develop module. In this module, so on the left-hand side, we have presets. These are kind of pre-designed changes that you can actually buy additional ones and import them. You can also save your own. So if you have a set of a way that you processed an image and you want to save it, this is where you do it. You can also save snapshots if you want to try several different things. We have the history where you can back up. If you've done a couple of things that you didn't want, that you don't want, you can simply back up in the history. And we also have access to our full set of collections in here. The copy and paste is once you've made some changes, you could copy them and paste them to other images. So it's nice. It's a nice way to batch process multiple images. On the right-hand side, we have the histogram, which also includes if there are any issues related to clipping. So let's see if I can bring those up. Okay, so if I'm just putting my cursor over this top triangle, and you see that red that comes up, that's an indication that in those areas there's no information, and I may want to adjust that. What it looks like in the shadows, let me just see if I can make that come up. I can't. It's kind of the same thing, however, it's a blue, and that's how you indicate, that's how you'll know that you have no information in the shadow area. Okay, the majority of your work is going to be done in this first module. This is the basic one. You're going to start with your white balance. If there is something that should be neutral within the image, or if you shot a gray card in the same scene, you'd go in and click. Now, if you end up clicking on the wrong place, then you can simply go back and re-click, and that's going to give you what is numerically a fairly neutral environment. The next thing then is you may decide that you don't like the look of that and you want to warm it up or cool it down a bit, and that's where this temperature slider works. After that, I only use the exposure slider if both my shadows and my highlights need to go in the same direction. They're both too dark or they're both too light. Otherwise, I leave that alone. I don't really use contrast unless I want to lose some information in the shadows and lose some information in the highlights. Otherwise, I divide up all those areas individually. So in this image, I'd like to get more information in the highlights, so a lighter feel to it. Whether or not you want to darken the whites is also up to you. And the one area that I find that people tend to get a little confused with, let's say that we've really brought up the shadows, we've really brought down the highlights, maybe we've kind of brought the whole, emphasize the blacks just to give it a little more sense of being a rounded image. And so that you're actually going to drag it down. Dragging the blacks down will make them darker. Reset this image just because there's so many things I did. And that was this key, this button at the bottom. Go back, do my white balance. I'm going to open up my shadows, bring down my highlights some. That's where clarity is all the way down. That can look a little heavy. Vibrance is going to increase the saturation or the look of the colors that are it, maybe around 10. I don't bring up the saturation. First of all, you don't need to oversaturate everything, and you are looking at the image in transmitted light, so it's got a lot of intensity, and if you oversaturate, you're going to lose image detail. After that, we have the hue saturation, the ability to just work with color, or if you want to make it a black and white. Now, if you want to make it a black and white, you then get the chance to lighten or darken. It's sort of remixing what emphasis. The nice thing about it is you can always go back to color fairly easily. And so that's the good thing about Lightroom. Also, let's say you want to do a couple versions of an image. Simply go up to Photo, Create Virtual Copy, and you'll get a second image. I don't know if you can see down in the film strip area, it has almost like a little turned page quality, and that indicates that it is the virtual copy. I'm going back to the original, and I'm going back to my history, and I am going to go back to before I did the black and white conversion. Now, there's a couple of lens issues that you want to deal with, and I'll look at those in the next video. But that's the basics of working with color correction and some moderate amount of lightening or darkening.